My name is Sandra Santos, and I am the proud principal of World Language Middle School for Columbus City Schools.
My choice was deliberate. I'm a product of Columbus City Schools, so I understood from early on that Columbus City Schools is a caring community of educators. As an instructional leader, I have an opportunity to form a student's future. And so through forming it, I work with social workers, teachers, parents. And so as the instructional leader, I can implement various instruction intervention that will help to support students.
So one of the specific resources that I thought was super powerful for me to be a first-year principal was a principal coach. The principal coach role really helped me in the supports of budgeting, knowing how to manage my time, knowing how to support my community, knowing how to build that culture and climate, and knowing how to get my students ready, because even in middle school, as a building principal, my kids have to be ready for the next level, which is high school.
So I always try to let my kids know that they are one of my kids, and I'm going to treat them as if they were my own. And so I think just having that sense of community and giving them a sense of belonging, and I always let them know too that even when they leave me, they will always be one of my students. And so no matter how far removed or how far away they grow older in life, it will still always be one of my kids. And so just that sense of community and sense of belonging, and letting them know that they matter and that they're important, even when they're not at their best sometimes, they still matter and they're still very important.
Columbus is a great place to live and work. Our town has grown into a major urban area. Columbus is the 14th largest city in the country, and so we've grown into a major urban area. However, it still has that small town feel. It has something for everyone.
The diversity in Columbus, whether you're in the city or in the surrounding suburbs, diversity makes us stronger. And so I think that's one of the things that makes Columbus very special. The opportunities that Columbus has afforded to me, and they took a chance on me, I say take that leap of faith and come to Columbus.
I would say you owe it to yourself to work for Columbus City Schools. You will have a rich experience of whatever you choose to do. If you want to work as a teacher, if you want to work at the building level as a secretary, or if you want a central office position, it is a great place to come to network, to hone your skills, and to not only that, but to pour into people.
We are educating future doctors, lawyers, educators, and entrepreneurs. Our students are very important. I tell my students daily that they were great before me and they continue to be great after me, and I mean that because our students have made my teachers great and they have made me great as well.
One of the most things I appreciate about the City League is just everybody just show love. They care about me. Some of the players I enjoy playing against this year is Dylan Swain, Cortez Freeman, the two guards from West, and Trey Perry. And I say that because they're high competitive players and they give me a matchup.
I really do feel in the City League we have some of the best coaches. Me being a City League alum myself, I get to relive those moments every day from practice to games, and I'm very proud to be a head coach in the Columbus City League.
I shout out George Harold, Adrian Francis, and Lamarion, because them just like older brothers to me on the court.
A lot of his success is credit to his teammates, but it's also a credit to his leadership. They're all like brothers, and they all want to see him succeed as well.
Some things I appreciate about Coach Chuck is just how he is on and off the court. Like on the court, he tells us it's the difference between liking a game and loving the game. Don't be a part-time basketball player. Then off the court, he's a really big role model because he's just not a coach to me, he's a dad. Just someone I can call on.
Dominique Akins is a special kid, kind of knew his family off the court. And the relationship me and him have is bigger than basketball. We talk about a lot of things outside of basketball, and just to see him evolving in these last 2 years and what he's doing this year just goes to the testament of the type of kid he is. Very hard-nosed, and he's very special to this program, especially after losing to Mr. Basketball and team that's won a city and district championship. And Walnut Ridge has always had the next guy ready to step up, and for him to be doing what he's doing in his junior year makes me feel proud to say that Walnut Ridge is in good hands.
I say I want to start engineering just because that's just something I've just been looking forward to since I was a young kid. And that's what my brother went to college for, so he just inspired me to do that. When college coaches come see me, they see that I can score the ball well, I can pass it, play defense. I got a good attitude.
College coaches should recruit Dominique Akins because some of the things he's able to do and escape out of trouble, you can't teach that. What he's doing this season, averaging over 29 points in his junior year, seeing double teams being physical with him, I think he has all the tools to be successful at the next level. I know a lot of coaches probably spend a lot of time preparing for him, and the biggest jump from his sophomore year to junior year is he's able to adjust to that. So I think college coaches will just leave Walden Ridge after watching Dominique play and just see the ultimate competitor he is on both ends of the floor. You know, he's doing big things now in his junior year, so I can only imagine what's going to take place in his senior year. I think he will be ready to, once he touches the floor freshman year, to make an immediate impact to whatever university is lucky to have him.
Our story begins in the 1950s. That's when a boy on an Italian vacation with his family brought home as many as 10 common European wall lizards to his home in Cincinnati, Ohio. He released them into his backyard, and over the years, the population in the Cincinnati area exploded. The lizards have now made their way to Columbus, specifically Columbus Downtown High School's parking lot. The issue here? As an invasive species, they could disrupt the ecosystem in Ohio and could have a negative impact on native wildlife. With that happening outside, students inside the school jumped at the opportunity.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Neighborhood School Development Partnership Committee for Thursday, March 28th. Moving on the agenda to approval of minutes. Do we have, is everyone a chance to review the minutes? And if there's no questions, I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 3, discussion items. We do not have any on the agenda for today. So we'll dive right into item number 4, action items. We have a motion before us, 4.01, to award a general contract for security vestibule upgrades at multiple sites, project number 2401.
Good morning, everybody. So my team are mostly on the Zoom side of things today. So Brandy will be presenting this contract, and she's kind of pinch hitting for Lori Seeger, my regular PM for this one today.
Can everybody? Okay.
Brandy, keep talking. Your audio is a little rough right now, though.
Can you hear me okay?
Better. Go ahead and keep trying, please. No, Brandy, we seem to be having some technical issues.
Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, I hooked my cord up. Okay, we have award of general contract for security vestibule upgrades at multiple sites. It's project number 24018 with T-Built Construction Services. Here we have a copy of our short advertisement. It advertised on Tuesday, 2/27 and 3/5/24. We have our long advertisement with the project estimate as 292.5. And this also let you know when we had our pre-bid. This one was actually a rebid, so we did not have a pre-bid meeting for this one. Sorry. We did post some additional information on the district website about the background of the project, administrative items, where to submit bids at. This is the sign-in sheet from the first pre-bid meeting that we did have. So we did have some interest in the project. Here is the bid tabulation. We have two bidders, Miles McCullen and T-Built. T-Built was the low. We have our AOR, EOR recommendation letter from Legat Architects. Here is our legislation noting 305,000 and just background information on the project. We have our working contract. This is a draft of it. And we have our LEDE Form A signed by Terry Wise. T-Built will be using Anderson Decorating for some painting services. Do we have any questions?
I'll entertain any questions or comments from the board.
No, the technical review committee did review and recommend this project, so I'll move approval.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries.
Thank you. I will add just a couple of things. So Brandy touched on it, but so this is a rebid, so I don't think we're unique in finding that it's an incredibly challenging bid market right now. So we'll have to continue to monitor and adjust as we can. The other thing that I want to just point out, so that particular contract has one new security vestibule at our Hudson Adult Center, which does not have one at all right now. The other three sites are all facility master plan buildings, and so I just want to note that this is work that I would anticipate will continue into the future. Much like we see lots of things evolving around us, our security procedures evolve. Every building that we have was designed completely discreetly and differently. And so as policies change, as equipment changes, as things change in our buildings, we certainly have that same need to adapt. So those other three projects are really just refinements of existing security vestibules that are already in place. But again, as much as I'd love to be able to tackle these projects once and never have to go back to them again, it's just not the way the world seems to work.
Discreetly and differently. I think that's a
yeah, right.
good way to describe it.
There are no cookie cutters.
All right. Moving on to item 4.02, to award a general contract for playground and site improvements at multiple sites, project number 24010. Alex?
Great, thank you. So Ansley is going to pick up with the information on this contract.
Good morning, everybody. So this is item 4.02 for our playground projects. This will impact two separate types of sites. This will look familiar. We pre-purchased all of the equipment I believe in November. So if the equipment looks familiar, it's because you've already approved that. This is the bid package that will do all the installation, the site work, and some of the asphalt work to make these playgrounds come alive. So those first sets you're seeing here are 5 to 12-year-old sets that will be at 6 sites, including Forest Park, Gables, Hamilton STEM, Lindbergh, Valley View, and West Broad Elementary Schools. And then we will have 7 sites that are getting the 2 to 5-year-old sets or our pre-K sets. That will be Cassidy, Como, Hamilton STEM, Wyland Park, West Broad, Westgate, and Windsor. A couple of these sites have existing pre-K sets that we're replacing, but the majority of these sites do not have a pre-K set now. So we'll be adding a pre-K set because there's a pre-K program at that school, but not a 2 to 5-year-old appropriate play set. Just like the security vestibules, this is also a rebid. So when we re-advertise, this is our short ad that went out in the dispatch that ran on February 20th and February 27th. That directed you to our longer advertisement here that lists the sites. It listed the estimated budget for the project. Again, for our rebid, we did not have a pre-bid. We posted the additional information that is usually available in a pre-bid. We did have a pre-bid on the original bid. This just listed, again, more project information, deadlines for addendums, alternate, and kind of the project schedule and the boarding schedule. This is our sign-in sheet from the first round of bids, and this was kind of the group that was interested in it when we put it back out on the street. We unfortunately only had one bidder when we put this back out on the street. So we are recommending to award to Pensura, who was our only bidder. They came in at 13% under our estimate. This is our architect from Triad Architects, recommendation letter recommending to award the bid to Pensura. Our legislation noting the total dollar amount of $1,720,155.38. We'll be using our standard contract for this. So this is the cover sheet of that standard general contract. And this is our LEDE form. Unfortunately, we are not able to meet the LEDE goal. We're sitting at 0% right now. Pensura did make a good faith effort to get to that 20%, but did not have follow through from those vendors that they reached out to. So this is just some of his good faith effort backup for that. Are there any questions on the playground and site improvements?
Is there any questions from the board?
Alex, so similar to the point you made with the first award, we had good coverage in terms of the pre-bid meeting, and it seems like a decent amount of interest. Surprising to get one bid on a $1.7 million contract. That seems really surprising. And is there any reason, any feedback from anyone else why they didn't bid with as many that were interested?
So it is a great question, and it's certainly one we bid it twice. I mean, that was the reason why we put it back out again, was to try to, so we did do more marketing. We talked to some vendors to get some feedback about what their impediments were to bidding. Ansley, I don't know if you can remember any of that detail off the top of your head. We'll certainly continue. It's the nice thing about having a consultant on this side. We can have them kind of mine not only plan holders, but potential plan holders who maybe didn't even interact this time to find out what other impediments they saw or would see, and we'll continue to make adjustments, but I wish I had a better answer for you.
Yeah, and Jeff, we had talked about that to technical review committee, and I believe Ansley had mentioned that some of the outreach was schedule folks were busy, and it's either going to be one where they're going to overprice, because if you want to overpay, it's easy to do. But I think it's just such a niche to do the installation of that equipment.
Yeah,
typically those vendors are doing other more lucrative price projects.
That makes sense.
Again, we did review it on technical review committee and recommend approval. Therefore, I'll move motion to adopt project number 24010.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for the presentation. Moving on to item number 4.03, to award a general contract for the Arts Impact Middle School, Ames, refresh, project number 24025. Alex?
All right, thank you very much. So I have Dan on the line, and he'll present this project, but I do want to give just a little bit of context before we get started. So Arts Impact Middle School, I believe, was opened in 2007, and so it is one of our new-ish facility master plan buildings. And so I think one of the obvious questions that's going to come up on this one is why are we recommending making an investment in a new facility? So our new facilities are not nearly so new as maybe people imagine they are, and certainly this particular one is really starting to show its age. So you'll hear in the next couple pieces of legislation as well, kind of a new strategy that we're working through in terms of facility condition. So it's important that we hold a line on condition of our new-ish buildings, this being one of them. And so there are some inherent design issues that we'd like to correct in this building to make it a better learning environment for our students and for our staff. And it's also just a general refresh. And so it's this concept that to hold the line on life cycle renewals, it's important that we not continue this model of run to fail. And so this will be our first attempt at taking a new-ish building and trying to make it as close to like new as we can. And so with that, I'll let Dan take over details.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, so this is a award of general contract for Arts Impact Middle School refresh. This will go to Lusk Mechanical Contractor. Should be a pretty short presentation here. So this is our proposal here. This was originally solicited by Bob Mickley. The project was is being procured through job order contracting. Again, this is going through Lusk Mechanical Contractors. Here is a list of all the scope items. As Alex said, this is a general refresh, so this is covering a lot of different things. Probably the largest items are going to be acoustical upgrades. The building has a very large echo issue that we are installing baffles to help calm. We are also installing new lighting throughout the building, as well as new flooring, among other items. As you can see here, the total cost of the package is going to be about $4.4 million. This will be coming out of the $1.5 million maintenance fund. Lusk has committed to the 20% LEDE participation, and Terry Wise has signed off on the LEDE form. And that is everything. Do I have any questions?
Yes, Dan, I'm sorry, I'll back up. Were there many bidders on this particular project? Just one?
So I'll jump into that one because
Okay.
you actually gave me a great
There it
softball
is.
for the
Nice little handout.
part of what I wanted to explain. So
Thanks, Alex.
this is one of our job order contracts, and so in job order contracting, the bid for this contract was placed by a different entity. In this case, that's Equalis. So Lusk Mechanical is the contractor that we use to do the Hamilton STEM renovation. So at this point, we've got a pretty good working relationship with them, which is good because we need confidence that we can get we can get the equivalent of probably 6 months worth of work done in 10 weeks, because that's how long we have to get this entire project complete over the summer break. So I think one of the things maybe we do ourselves a disservice is, so, we go through these very brief presentations to explain a contract. What we did not explain, and so I want to make sure we explain a little bit, is how long we've been working on this contract. So we identified this building right around the start of the school year as a target for this kind of work. And one of the reasons why I really like the job order contracting process, and one of the reasons why we're going to continue to advocate for it for this kind of work, is that we get to have a lot of discussions with not only the general contractor, but also their subcontracting teams to talk about how we can meet all of our needs and our goals and our requirements. So when we started talking about this echo issue that Dan mentioned, there's a lot of different ways you could solve it. Some of them are more palatable than others in terms of both their aesthetics as well as their cost. And so rather than going down that very linear design bid build process, which I know people are very familiar with, where you're designing and oftentimes you're doing that in isolation from context around, you're going to get some information on budget from your design team. One of the things they oftentimes really struggle with is constructability. Like, can we actually pull this off over a quick summer break? Being able to work with all the manufacturers to look at all the product lines that are available, making sure that we understand all the code implications. And so that is exactly what has happened in this project. So there have been dozens of meetings with all of our different stakeholders. That includes the principal. She's the one who really kind of drove home for us this acoustics issue in the building. With our maintenance team to talk about all the shortcomings they see in the building and how we can make the building easier to maintain. Our custodial team talking about the exact same things. And so in this very iterative process, we've been able to kind of comb through each of those line items and talk about what does it cost? Can we get this work complete over the summer? Does it meet all of our other goals? You see they are able to meet the LEDE goal. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I just want to drive home, like there have been many, many, many meetings and back and forths over this project to get us to this point.
Yes, Alex, that does answer the question. I appreciate that. It is an interesting process where you're able to have more input throughout the whole phasing of the design and everything else compared to the other approach that we've normally taken there. So I appreciate the background.
Yeah, and we had talked about that on the technical review committee because of the size of the project. Typically, it'd be one that you would go through more of the design bid, build, award system, but because of the time frame of trying to get it completed in a shorter period of time, the job order costing, if everybody remembers, that has been bid. So it's all the trades and material costs are all, much like cooperative purchasing, have been bid that allows the option of doing the job order costing. So it's not that, people didn't competitively price and offer up through Gordian pricing. So
it was already done previously
Right.
to get the job order contract in place. Perfect. All right.
That technical review committee did review this, answer a lot, or ask a lot of those same questions, and with such, I'll move approval of project number 24025.
Wonderful. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll, I don't know. Is that all in favor? Say aye. Sorry.
Aye. Aye.
Forgot my script. Aye. Thank you. I appreciate it. Moving on to item number 4.04, to award of general contract for the Lyndon McKinley STEM High School Stadium upgrades, project number 24027. Alex?
Thank you. So Brandy's going to present this one again as well in place for Lori again. So very similar story to the piece of legislation you just saw, except this is a stadium. So this is a stadium that was renovated about 12 years ago. Certainly has lots of life left in it, although the weather coatings on it are at the end of their useful life. And so the recommendation here is to do a major upgrade to this facility to, number one, take care of those coatings and make sure that we keep this stadium in service life for many, many years to come. And then there are also some upgrades that we're recommending at this time, specifically related around ADA access. And so I'll let Brandy pick it up from there.
Thank you, Alex, for the background on that. So I will go over the 3 items listed here. So attached, we have the proposal submitted by Prodigy through Gordian. This is a cooperative contract as well. We have the line item breakout. Here we have the legislation with a little over 1.4 million, almost $1.5 million. And again, it lists the background that Alex went over. Attached, we have LEDE Form A. Prodigy has submitted 20%, but Terry Wise has not signed off on this yet. And that is all that I have. Do we have any questions?
I'll entertain any questions from the board on the project.
I think this is the first one I've heard where Terry Weiss has not already signed off. Is that just a matter of timing in terms of the presentation this morning?
That's correct. Go for it, Brandy.
I think, yeah, it's been in her queue. She just has not signed off on this one, and I think one other one, but she signed off on the everybody else's.
And Brandy, I'll just ask you to confirm. So the vendor has made the 20% LED commitment, correct?
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Again, it's been reviewed and approved by Technical Review Committee, so I would make a motion to approve project number 24027 pending Terry's signature on the LED form.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Brandy, for the presentation. Moving on to item number 4.05, award of general contract for Beechcroft High School home stadium upgrades, project number 24028. Alex?
Thank you, sir. So Brandy will cover this one as well, covering for Kurt today. So a little bit different story on this one. So Beechcroft is one of our legacy facilities. And so with passage of the permanent improvement levy, we have kicked off a whole series of projects, which are largely going to occur next summer of 2025. But we also started inquiring into what are our worst condition issues and what can we get addressed this summer to make some pretty quick investments and improvements across our system. And so this project rose to the top of our concerns. So I'm assuming everybody's been to a football game or a soccer game or a track meet and sat in a stadium. I haven't been in a stadium for a while that still has wood planks, but we unfortunately are still a system that has some stadiums that have wood planked stadiums, and this is one of them. They certainly spring far more than you would like them to, and so they certainly don't give you a level of confidence that they're as sturdy as you'd like them to be for our visitors. And so this is a project to address that at Beechcroft. So we are not replacing the stadium. So again, thinking that this is a legacy facility and at some point in the future we'll need to make a much more significant action. This is more of a heavy upgrade. So for our spectators, I would expect that it'll be a like new experience. So what they're going to see is new aluminum planking, new aluminum seating. We'll be bringing this stadium up to today's code in terms of accessibility requirements. And yet underneath it, it'll still be the original structure, which still has plenty of service life left in it. And so with that, I'll let Brandy pick up the technical aspects, and then we can circle back to any questions you might have.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, just to go over some technical items. This project was scoped by Bob Mickley, and it is done being cooperative. So here is the cooperative proposal from Dan Clayton. Line item breakout of some items. We have the legislation with $418,100, and budget source is the Permanent Improvement Fund, and we have background information listed below. And here we have the LEDE Form A. They have committed to 20%. This is in Terry Wise's queue. She has not yet signed off on it. And that is all that I have. Do we have any questions?
No, pretty straightforward. Did you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, so it's funny, like I picked up on something that Brandy said that I think I need to expound upon. So I think you've heard 2 or 3 pieces of legislation where my team have responded that Bob Mickley scoped the project. So I want to make sure everybody understands, number one, Bob Mickley is CCS. So he's not a contractor. He is one of my team members. And what we're alluding to, although we probably need to be more explicit about it, is that we're working really hard to stand up a planning side of our division. So if I feel like we're pretty confident at project delivery at this point, what we really have never done as a system is any kind of comprehensive planning. So right now we have a contract in place with Sightlines. They'll be doing comprehensive assessments. And so what we have started doing, and I've been using Bob within my team to do this, is to take a very intentional look at needs across the system and to start packaging up projects. So that's kind of the planning side, right? So it's understanding conditions, it's understanding schedules and timing, it's packaging up projects in such a way that we can better understand, so what is the scope of work? What is it going to cost? What is the time frame we can do them in? Identifying the best method to procure the work. And then we're still working through kind of what is this gentle handoff from planning into project execution. So that part will be a plan in the works for a while as we kind of stand up this planning side, project side, and how do those two things meld together, and then ultimately working with our maintenance team hopefully kind of creates this circle of project delivery.
Great. Thank you, Alex.
Good. Technical Review Committee reviewed and recommended the project for approval, so I would move for passage of project number 24028.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. If there's no other further questions or comments, I'll take a motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry. I will. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. I need some stronger coffee. Motion carries.
More coffee.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's patience. Item number 4.06, authority to purchase furnishings, equipment, and services for the Scottwood Elementary School renovation project, number 24016. Alex?
This one's probably the most straightforward one you have today, so this one I'll hand right off to Ansley.
Thanks, Alex. So you'll see the two buildings listed there, Scottwood renovation and Mifflin High School renovation. You saw those both come through the committee, Mifflin a couple times. So those are our full school renovations that we're doing, similar to the work we did at Hamilton STEM last summer. So this is a contract that kind of gets us the little pieces and parts we need to complete those projects. So we will be working with King Business Interiors on a few different initiatives for those buildings. We're asking for a not to exceed number of $350,000 in the legislation that will mostly cover whiteboards, tack boards in the buildings. We're also doing some acoustical panels at Scottwood, and some other demountable walls at Scottwood, and some additional furniture at Mifflin. So each of those are going to be under a separate cooperative purchasing contract. You'll see those listed in the legislation. As we finalize those proposals with King, we will have a PO issue that matches each proposal that King provides for the projects. As I alluded to in the legislation, we have listed 4 different cooperative purchasing contracts that we're going to work through. The first one is Hayworth through their Omnia partners. That is for demountable wall systems at Scottwood. We're working with Claridge's E&I contract for the whiteboards and tack boards at both facilities. This one sounds weird, Carnegie Fabrics on their TIPS contract. That will be for some acoustical tack panels that we're doing in the corridors at Scottwood Elementary. And the last one is Sit On It with their Omnia contract. That will be some loose furnishings at both facilities. This is their LEDE form. This one also Terry has not signed, but that's mostly our fault because we just got the finalized form yesterday. King Business is an LEDE vendor, so we will have 100% LEDE participation on this contract. And that's all I have.
All right. I'll take any questions or comments from the board.
No, again, project was reviewed and approved by technical committee, so I would make a motion to approve project 24012, again pending Terry's signature.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jennifer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion carries. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Sansley.
All right, we've completed all the items for the agenda. Number 4, action items. Number 5, community inclusion report. There are no action items at this time. Is there anyone from the Board of Education who would like to say a few words? Anyone from the superintendent's office? All right. No old business, no new business. So the last one is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'd move motion to adjourn.
All right. There it is. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.